Hey, good morning, YouTubers. Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel. Welcome to another morning coffee with Mike. I guess we should call it, or we could call it that. So anyways, let's discuss. I got an email the other day from somebody discussing what's going on with immigration, or what is happening with people coming in. I got an email and to a link many times. Thank you very much. Basically with people asking, hey Mike, what is the deal with Canada bringing in 1 point something million immigrants, where we can't service jobs, or people can't get jobs locally, or people having a tough time finding employment, especially with this whole COVID thing? Well, it goes back to the video I made a few weeks ago where Canada wants to become a consumption country instead of a production country. We want to consume. We want to build homes. We want to sell more bottles of water, because more people buy bottles of water, the more economically sound they believe, or the politicians believe, the country will function. Well, here's the problem with the consumption economy, is that a lot of the stuff we are consuming, we're not making. It's coming in from somewhere else. And when you are bringing in stuff from somewhere else, you obviously are making someone else rich, and we're not exporting 70% of what we consume. And if we don't export 70% of what we consume, we're obviously not making real money, because money is in exports and money is in production, right? So, okay, what else is going on? Well, here's the deal with that. Those numbers like 1.2 or 1.6 million in the next couple of years, okay, fair enough. But here's the deal with that. Let's think this over very carefully. A lot of people refer to the Canada Government of Canada immigration website to find out who's been coming in and who's been going out. The problem with that is it's not properly updated. None of it's properly updated, and nobody understands what is really happening. You go on it, you see the immigration numbers, or the people that you see on this chart doesn't reflect to what you're seeing out here at all, right? Right. So what is happening with that? That chart, or those statistics, never show who's been deported from Canada. They never discuss the deportations from Canada. They want to bring in more. They want to bring in more to Canada. The most recent, I think, major deportation was the Filipino community, my wife. And she was telling me a lot of her friends were on the hook, or to be sent back, and none of their work visas were being renewed. So this will create more jobs for Canadians. But why did they bring in all these people in the first place? That's the question we're not asking, right? Again, hopefully to become a consuming nation, right? Right. So there was a huge thing back in 2018 where hundreds, I think it was close to 80,000 or 70,000 Filipinos were deported from Canada. Okay, well, it happened. Well, you go back to 2006, 2007, 41,000 Portuguese families were deported from the province of Ontario. It got so bad that the immigration officers would go in to high schools and wait for the children to get hold them in gymnasiums, and wait for their parents to come to show paperwork. And in Dufferin Mall, on Dufferin and Dupont, they shut down the entire mall, and nobody could get in or out of the mall until they showed ID that they basically are not Portuguese. And if they were Portuguese, there was a bus waiting outside for them. And then there was a massive Hungarian deportation, a massive Croatian deportation, so they're not showing the numbers of people that have been deported from Canada. They are showing what they could potentially bring into Canada to make Canada great. Well, here's the deal with this. The problem is a lot of people are trying to get jobs. A lot of people here locally and from abroad, and people I'm talking across the country, can't find employment, or they're having a tough time finding employment. Well, how could this help us by bringing in 1.2 million? Well, the government believes that we consume more, that will create more jobs. But the problem is, now here's the deal. This goes back to the story I told you guys about a regional manager for a famous fast food joint. He told me when he was regional manager, he would have hired so many people, local Canadians, but they weren't hired. That he was told to destroy their resumes and not call them. And he asked why. Well, when we get somebody that's new to the country, we could push them around, they don't talk unions, and they don't go to the labor board. And we could always threaten to send them back to their country if they misbehave. And he was like, at all, like, really? We do that? He's like, yeah, we've been doing that for years. So locals are asked, big corporations are asked, don't hire the locals. Do not hire the local people from, don't hire them, because they are trouble. They form unions, they discuss, they have smoke breaks, blah blah blah. But that's not the point. The point is we are not filling or servicing positions to the local. Then you're probably wondering, wait a minute, well, if it's a local business, why doesn't a local person hire a local employee? Well, local people aren't owning local businesses anymore. Local people are having a really tough time just affording to buy or to have shelter over their heads. People are having a tough time affording basic rent, basic necessities, basic costs of living that 20 years ago in Canada, all you needed was a part-time job and you could get by really well. Canada was a country, basically, all you had to do was work and you got everything you wanted. You didn't have to go crazy. You didn't have to borrow. You didn't have to ask mom and dad for a handout 30 years ago. 30 years ago, man, if you were living with your parents at 18, people looked at you weird. And that's how it was. That's how the culture was here. We built wealth. We used to be a wealth-building nation. My dad, God rest his soul, when we came from Portugal, ended up paying his house in 4 years at 16% interest. Yes, because he worked hard. He worked day and night, and my mom worked day and night to pay off the house, because they realized that once we could get this house off our shoulders, we could go ahead and live a more of a free life. And they did live a good, decent life, and we bought a cottage, and we prospered. We did well as a family. Then family breaking up, family breakups. Yeah, we're not gonna go into that because that's a new culture now. But I kind of wanted to share this with you guys. I kind of wanted to throw that out there. A lot of articles were sent to me. We're not getting the full numbers. Now, again, we want to become a consumption country. Consumption countries don't work. Consumption countries lead to socialist agendas because then they start winning votes. And it won't take much longer until they get ruling parties in, and then things start to change. So, and one more thing that a lot of people don't understand, there's many layers to immigration. If you're coming in with money, you're not considered a migrant. If you come into Canada, let's say from China, and have childbirth in Canada, or birth tourism is a big thing in Canada for specific countries. Because I had a lady come from Portugal for a funeral, and she was pregnant, and immigration was giving her a really tough time, saying, if this baby gets born in Canada, we're deporting both of you. Right? So so birth tourism only works for specific countries. People need to realize that. When tons of Romanian, Croatian, Portuguese families were deported from Canada, oh, sorry guys, my eyes always water. A lot of people need to understand that a lot of those people had kids in Canada that were 12, 15, 16 years old already. And they've been living in Canada 10, 20, 30 years. And they were deported. So it was a mass purging of European families, right? So people need to understand that there's different layers of immigration. So depending where you're from, you're more welcome in the country. Depending what you don't have to offer in the country, you're actually more of a high demand. And that's the weird part about it. And that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. And we understand production and consumption. Watch my production and consumption video. Someone's going to have to consume this bottle of water. Thus, I consume it. I paid $1 for it. Guess what? Somebody made that dollar, and that dollar goes back in the system. And then that's what they're hoping to do. But because middle class or mom and pop's businesses are going to cease to exist pretty soon at the way we're headed, that level is going to be gone. So, but we're still going to have to consume this water regardless. And that's what the government is seeing. They're going to have to consume water. They're going to have to consume stuff. They're going to have to consume all kinds of stuff. I really look forward to reading your comments on this, on immigration. There's too many layers of it. I was going to break down a whole entire segment and break down different articles to kind of show all the deportation, all the people coming in. You know, that article I keep showing, Canada wants 500,000 more Chinese per year. That doesn't reflect on her migrant status. Look, guys, I'm crying. No, it's the every time we get cool breeze here in town, or every time I get a cool breeze from the mountains up there, I usually feel this nice gust. It feels so good. It's a beautiful day today here in Merritt, British Columbia. Anyways, guys, I look forward to reading your comments on this, on the different layers of immigration and how it works. It's very complex. I think immigration, as the more I've looked into it, for example, in Canada, even in Australia, I've looked into it, it's more complex than our tax system to understand. Why? Because they just don't want us to really master it or understand it. Because what nowadays, what could we do about it anyway? Doesn't matter who we vote in. The agenda is pretty much set to stay the same. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Lots of love. Thanks for watching.